Week 15 of the fantasy basketball season, and here's a few forwards I looked to buy and trade for this week. The first guy, Jeremiah Grant of the Portland Trailblazers. I know the last few weeks I said sell him, and now the value's definitely gone down a little bit here for Jeremiah Grant, where he hasn't had those monster games like he had early in the season. But right now, the stats are leveled out. He's pretty much back at the numbers he was last season over the last few weeks. On the season, 21.2 points a game, 4.3 rebounds, 2.4 assists, 2.4 threes, and 48% from the field. But the last couple weeks, 17.6 points a game, 3.8 rebounds, 1.6 assists, 1.3 steals, 1.9 threes, and 50% from the field. So the field goal percentage has been great. No doubt about it this season here for Jeremiah Grant. But obviously with Damian Lillard back in midseason form and just coming off a 60-point game, he's going to be the ball-dominant guy. No doubt about it is Lillard. And there's going to be lesser opportunities for Grant game in and game out. So the last few games here for Grant, January 22nd versus the Lakers, 19 points, 4 rebounds, an assist, a steal, 2 threes, 37% from the field. January 23rd versus the Spurs, 3 points only, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, a block, a 3, 11% from the field. And January 25th, a nice bounce back game versus the Jazz, 19 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, a block, and 60% from the field. So if you need some scoring, rebounding, and a guy could get a steal with 2 assists per game about here, Jeremiah Grant's a decent buy this week. And like I said, with the numbers gone down over the last couple weeks here, he's a buy low guy because once again, he could blow up and put those big numbers up, and that's when you'll have to overpay for him. The next guy, Chris Middleton of the Milwaukee Bucks, and Middleton working back into shape. He finally came back here, and he's a perfect guy to go out there and get, to be honest. And you don't got to give up much to get Middleton. On the season, we know he's only played a handful of games, 10.7 points a game, 2.4 rebounds, 4.2 assists, 1.7 threes, and 33% from the field. So obviously he's not right as Chris Middleton, still working his way back. And we know last season was another great year for him with 20 points a game, 5.5 rebounds, 5.5 assists with 2.5 threes. So right now, it's going to take him some time to build up and get back to that level. No doubt about it, it's Chris Middleton. So the last 2 games back, they've managed his workload, only 15 minutes a game in both ball games. January 23rd at Detroit, 8 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 threes, 42% from the field. And January 25th versus the Nuggets, 10 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal, 2 threes, 37% from the field. So right here, if he could keep building those minutes up, I know the first 2 games back, 15 minutes each in those big ball games where they won anyway, was this Milwaukee Buck team. They're going to obviously try to save him more for the back end of the season and the playoff run, but right now they're building him up. We know he's a guy that's capable of going out there and scoring the basketball, putting up big numbers, and also a guy who can rebound and pass the basketball well, especially playing with great players like Jrue Holiday and Giannis Antetokounmpo. So right now, while Chris Middleton's not 100% and working back into game shape to have great fantasy value, this is a perfect time to go out there and get him. And honestly, you don't got to give up much at all, I would believe, here to get him on your team. In the third and final forward I look to buy and trade for this week here is Andrew Wiggins of the Golden State Warriors. To talk about another guy who's been banged up this season, and a guy coming off a great year last year, one of the best seasons in his career. But this season here, not many games under his belt, 17.5 a game, 4.8 rebounds, 2.2 assists, 1.3 steals, 2.7 threes, and 47% from the field. So one thing I'll give Wiggins over the last few years, his 3-point shooting's improved big time, and his field goal percentage has been very solid as well the last couple seasons. But the last couple weeks here, he's been slumping a little bit, 13 points a game, 3.8 rebounds, 2.6 assists, 1.2 blocks, 1.6 threes, and only 34% from the field. So Wiggins here, we know he's been missing a lot of ball games in and out this season. And right here, once he gets back on track and he's good to go, is Andrew Wiggins. This is a guy that can put up great numbers and definitely help fantasy owners down the stretch run. So the last few games here, Wiggins, January 16th in Washington, 14 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, to 3, 40% from the field. January 19th at Boston, 20 points, 4 boards, 3 assists, a steal, 4 blocks, 3 threes, 33% from the field. Then January 20th, he sat out. The 22nd, he aggravated the injury versus Brooklyn. Only 4 points, 2 rebounds, and assist, a steal in that one. In 27 minutes, though, with 22% from the field. And January 25th, sat out versus the Grizzlies. So right here, banged up right now, is Andrew Wiggins with an illness. So whatever the case may be, it's just been a thing with him on and off over the last couple weeks here for Andrew Wiggins. He'll play a couple games, sit out a couple, and then on and off a game here and there, he's out. But right now, while the stats are down and he's not 100%, this is a time to buy him. So that's a few forwards I look to buy and trade for in week 15 of the fantasy basketball season.